Hey, so today we're going to dig into a phrase you've probably heard a million times: walk by faith, not by sight. But what does that actually mean in our day-to-day lives? Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? When you're walking forward, but it's like you're in a thick fog and you can't even see your own feet, let alone what's ahead. That feeling of uncertainty. That's exactly what we're talking about today. And this one little line from 2 Corinthians, this is our roadmap. It's so much more than a nice quote. It's really an invitation to see our lives, especially those confusing parts, through a completely different lens.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start with something we all feel: that constant tug of war between our need for a solid plan and, well, the reality that life almost never goes according to plan. I mean, think about it. We want a life that works like Google Maps, don't we? Just give me the turn-by-turn directions and a clear arrival time. But a journey of real purpose? It's just not like that. It's all about learning to trust the guide, even when you can't see the map at all. So let's talk about that word, faith. We throw it around a lot, but what is it really? Let's move past the cliches and get to the heart of what it means. The book of Hebrews gives us this incredible definition. And notice those words: confidence and assurance. This isn't just wishful thinking. The key is where that confidence comes from. It's not based on what we can see or prove, but on our trust in the one who made the promises. And this right here, this is so important for busting some common myths. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It's moving forward even when you're uncertain. It's about shifting from a mindset of "I have to have it all figured out" to simply "I'm going to trust the one who does." And this verse from Proverbs, it just nails it. The real challenge is to stop leaning on our own limited understanding. It's about choosing to believe that even when the path looks completely tangled up from where we're standing, a straight path is being made for us. All right, so the ideas are great, but what does this actually look like in practice? Let's dive into 3 amazing stories of people who were called to take that step into the unknown. First up, we've got Abraham, often called the father of faith. And his story kicks off with this absolutely mind-blowing instruction from God. Leave everything you know, your home, your people, your comfort zone, and just go. Just let that sink in for a second. He did not know where he was going. Can you imagine? No address for the GPS, no destination in mind. He just went. His faith wasn't in the destination. It was in the one who called him. And that's the big lesson for you and me. So often we want clarity before we obey, but faith works the other way around. We take the step and we trust that God will light up the path just enough for the next step. Okay, next, let's look at the Israelites. They were promised this amazing new land, but getting there took, well, 40 years of wandering in a desert. This is a story all about what faith looks like when you're in a long, drawn-out season of waiting. And what's wild is that the text tells us this wasn't a mistake. The wilderness wasn't a detour. It was a training ground. It was designed to teach them to rely on God for absolutely everything, day in and day out. This is such a huge encouragement for those times when we feel stuck. You know, when it feels like we're just wandering aimlessly, this story reminds us that that time is never wasted. It's where God is building our character and getting us ready for what's next. And for our last story, we've got one of the most incredible moments in the whole Bible. Peter, in the middle of a raging storm, literally gets out of a boat to walk on water toward Jesus. This moment tells us everything we need to know about focus. You see, as long as Peter's eyes were fixed on Jesus, he was doing the impossible. He was fine. But the second he looked away, the second he focused on the huge waves and the howling wind, he started to sink. The storm became bigger in his mind than his Savior. And the lesson for us couldn't be clearer. Where you choose to look determines whether you walk or sink. If you stare at the storm in your life, you're going to go down. But if you fix your eyes on your source of strength, you can do the impossible. Now, these stories are amazing, right? But they also shine a spotlight on the biggest hurdle for pretty much all of us: our desperate need to be in control of our own lives. And this verse from Isaiah really gets to the why behind letting go. It's a huge reality check. It basically says, look, my perspective is so much higher than yours, it's not even on the same plane. And that's exactly why we have to trust his way over our own. So how in the world do we actually do this? Well, here are 3 really practical things. 1, in prayer, actually hand over your plans. 2, Stop trying to figure out step 50 and just focus on taking step 1. And 3, when that fear starts to creep in, make an active choice to replace it with trust.
Okay, so how do we make walking by faith a real part of our lives? The secret is realizing it's not some huge one-time leap off a cliff. No, it's a daily practice. It's built on hundreds of tiny little steps of trust, day after day. And this final verse just brings it all home. It's the mindset we need. It's about choosing every single day to look past the temporary stuff, the problems we can see, and to fix our eyes on the eternal purpose that God is working out behind the scenes. And with that, we come to the end, which is really just the beginning for you. Because the real question isn't about understanding the whole path. It's about being brave enough to take the next step. So, what's yours?